It amazes me and frightens me at the same time that we live in a world with cameras everywhere and so much technology, but when people go missing, no one seems to notice anything, and some of them are just not willing to talk at all, no matter what they may know. And I'm pretty sure Rajah McQueen's family has a lot of these questions as well as to why no one seems to know anything, and some of them are not willing to talk at all. And if you're wondering the same thing, this is the case of Rajah McQueen. And if you want to know more about this case, please continue watching. Raja would have been 30 years old now, but when she went missing on June 26, 2021, she was just 27 years old. She left behind two young children. Now, at the time that she went missing, she was a student at Rosedale Bible College. Detective Andrew Burke, who is working the case, stated she was loved by her family, friends, and classmates. She was a mother, a singer, and a songwriter. She had kind of an effervescent personality, if you will. She's really missed by a lot of people, he said. He also stated that he is actively working her case with the Cleveland police, and they've added more investigators to try to help find her. He stated, "We've been reviewing evidence, both old and new. We do believe that we're going to get the case to a resolution. It's unfortunate we're not there yet, but we believe we're very close," he said. Now, at the time when she went missing, she was last seen driving her silver 2018 Nissan Sentra by a busy gas station near East 131st Street and Harvard Avenue in the early morning. Hours later, city surveillance cameras captured her car, now with bullet holes in the roof and rear passenger door. Now, it is believed that her car was being driven by someone else at this time, and her friend posted on her Twitter or X that her car was being driven by an individual by the name of Stanley Williams. Now, this is all alleged. Now, I wonder how would her friend know this if someone didn't get loose lips and start to talk? Because, I mean, how else would her friend know this unless she, wasn't a real friend and had something to do with Roger's disappearance? Now, I hope that's not the case because this young lady seemed like she really wanted Roger to be found and, that she is genuinely concerned. Now, I did put a picture of Stanley Williams in this video. And when you look at this man, he does look like he's up to no good and that he's evil. I always believe that a person's eyes tell a lot about them, and his eyes just speak evil. It's like he has this evil look about him. You know how you can look at someone, it seems like they have like dark eyes, and when I say dark, I mean like there's a dark energy about them, or they have no soul. That is probably because he's the one that committed this crime, and it started to show on his face or in his body over the years, because he's probably racked with guilt, but he knows that he's in so deep now. So if he tells on himself, he is going to prison for life if he's the individual that committed this crime. And I do believe that police, if they haven't already, needs to look deeper into this man and see how far his criminal record goes back, if he does have one. Because as we know, people can commit crimes for years, even decades, and they not be caught. And this might be his case as well. He might have just been good at what he's done for all these years, and he's never been caught. Now, for Rajah's sake, I hope that her case is brought to a resolution very soon, because as I stated, she left behind two young children. Now, coming up in the video, you will see a picture of what her car might have looked like, at the time she went missing. There is a top view of her car, and then there's a side view of her car as well. Now, I would like to know, is there any solid evidence that ties Stanley Williams to her car, or is this just a suspicion that her friend has, because it has not been proven that he is the person that is responsible for her disappearance, or even who, if anyone, is responsible for her disappearance. But as I've said before, people don't just disappear into thin air, at least not on their own free will. Usually, when people disappear, it is because someone made them disappear by trying to cover up a crime, or just simply getting rid of them for whatever reason. And this seems to be the case in Rajah's disappearance, because why else would there be bullet holes in the roof of her car, as well as her rear passenger door? And why would he be suspected of driving her car when she last was seen, before she went missing, or after she went missing, excuse me? And why was there no license plate on her car? And why were the hubcaps, missing? That's a lot to think and wonder about, because, it's just a lot, that someone would go through all that trouble to make someone disappear. But I think that, he and whoever this friend overheard talking about this have a lot of explaining to do, as far as what their involvement was in her disappearance. When Detective Burke was asked if Rajah's case could be solved, he said it's absolutely solvable. Now, Rajah is described as being 5 feet 6 inches tall and weighing 133 pounds. She has brown eyes and black hair. She also has tattoos on her right shoulder, her left arm and chest, and her right thigh. Detective Burke said, time passing in a case can often be viewed as an obstacle, but we tend to look at it more as an opportunity. Relationships change over time. Sometimes distance helps people develop their conscience to come forward with information. Even if you remember something that seems small, if you know something about Rajah's case or what happened to her or her car, FBI agents want to talk to you. And we're talking about things that may feel insignificant, like someone may think, well, they probably already know that. But Detective Burke says, bring it to us anyway. It could be enough to solve the case. And this is the same thing I always say to people. No matter how small you think something may be, it could be something that could help solve the case. And it's just like a puzzle. Sometimes you may have all of the pieces except for one piece, and you could solve that puzzle if you find that one piece. And I believe that Rajah's case is a puzzle that could be solved with one piece. And someone out there may know something or might remember something that seems very, very small. And it could lead police to the location of her or her car or the individual or individuals that's responsible for her disappearance. And I'm pretty sure her family would be grateful to whoever would come forward with this one tip to help find her. As I stated earlier in this video, there are several agencies working together to help locate Rajah or her missing car. So the FBI and Crime Stoppers are offering a reward of $30,000 for information leading to Rajah or her whereabouts, as well as her missing car. And like I always say, tips can be made anonymously. You can call the FBI tip line at 216-583-5383. Again, that number is 216-583-5383. Or you can submit a tip online at tips.fbi.gov. Again, you can submit a tip online at tips.fbi.gov. You can also reach Cleveland Police Detective Kevin Callahan directly at 216-623-3138. Again, you can reach Cleveland Police Detective Kevin Callahan directly at 216-623-3138. It is said that Rajah's case was covered on a podcast, and it goes by the name of Dark Side of the Land. And you can listen to that podcast on all platforms, I'm sure, like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or anywhere that you listen to your podcast. And please, like I said, if you know something, please make sure that you call these numbers and submit a tip. And you can do that anonymously. And again, the reward that is being offered by the FBI and Crime Stoppers is for $30,000. It is to help find her or her car, or at least let someone know where she is and if she's still alive, which I hope that she is. Now, my question for this Stanley Williams person is, how does he know Rajah, or does he know her at all? I would also like to ask her friend, how do they know each other? And how does she know that Stanley Williams was the last person to be seen driving her car? Now, like I said, you can look at this man and tell that there is an evil presence about him. Like, you can look into his eyes and tell that there's something not right with him. Like, he has a dark spirit or a dark cloud over him. He looks like he has this dark, like, presence. I can't explain it other than a dark presence or a dark energy about him. It might be because he's racked with guilt, knowing what he could have possibly done, or he might know who did this, and he's been holding all of this inside for 3 years. And if this is the case, you know, just come forward and make it easy on yourself. And if it's not him, at least tell who, could have done this to her, who hated her just that much to shoot into the roof of her car, as well as the rear passenger door. Were they trying to kidnap her, and they figured if they shoot at her car in some fashion, this would make her try to escape the bullets, and she would, try to get out of the car and run for it, and that's when they would, kidnap her. Now, I wonder if she was in a relationship with this Stanley Williams person, or, did she owe him money or something, or was it the type of relationship of, if I can't have you, nobody else will? Because sometimes that does happen to people in relationships. They, either make it hard for the person to move on, or either they, threaten them by saying things like, I can't live without you. If I can't have you, nobody else will, things like that. And I feel like, he looks like the type of person who would probably say that to someone or carry out those actions to be, to become true. That if he can't have the person, then he'll make sure that nobody else does. Now, in certain situations, people will even go so far as to do things to the other person that the person is interested in, so that, they won't be around anymore to uh, occupy that person's mind or time, or be in the same space with that person. So they'll take out the love interest. And I would like to know if this is something that Stanley did, or if he, knows if somebody else did, or did somebody hire him to do this because they didn't have the guts to do so themselves. Like, I have so many questions. Like, was it a gambling debt, or was it just pure coincidence, or was it mistaken identity? Because in these cases, sometimes there's no such thing as coincidence when it comes to things like this, because, say for instance, if Rajah did have a boyfriend and him and Stanley were rivals of some sort for whatever reason, he probably felt like, okay, since I can't get to you, I'm going to get to the next best thing closest to you, and that's your girlfriend, or I don't know if she was married at the time, but your wife, because like it said, when people can't get to you or the person that they are trying to get to hurt, they'll hurt the next best close thing to them. And that could be, someone that they are, seeing, dating, or even their family, or friends, or what have you. And this might be the case for Stanley Williams. Like I said, someone could have paid him to do this because they didn't have the guts to do it, or he simply was doing this for himself because he didn't want Rajah seeing anybody else, and he probably snapped and lost his mind. Even though that's no excuse for taking someone's life, Because if someone doesn't want you, move on without them, because there's billions of more people in this world that you can have. But unfortunately, guys, that brings me to the end of today's video. If you liked today's video, please don't forget to leave me a thumbs up. Don't forget to leave me a comment down in the comment section below. And if you're not already subscribed, before you leave, please make sure that you subscribe, because it helps get videos like this into the algorithm and let people know that this channel does exist. And until next time, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.